Welcome to Kadampa Podcasts. These podcasts offer practical solutions to daily challenges and help guide us to a happier and more peaceful state of mind. In each episode, you will find an extract from a teaching given by one of various Kadampa Buddhist teachers worldwide. All these teachings are inspired by the profound wisdom of Venerable Geshe Kelsang Gyatso Rinpoche, a Buddhist master for our time. We hope you will enjoy listening.
What we're going to look at tonight is a very special practice. First, developing the mind of wishing love, and then through the force of imagination, engaging in a practice of giving happiness to others, imagining others experiencing lasting happiness. So, as I was saying with Tantra, Tantric practice, we use the power of our imagination to create a future reality. Because actually everything starts in the imagination. There's a lovely section in this book, New 8 Steps to Happiness, a section called Taking and Giving, where Venerable Geshe explains how if we want to quickly achieve enlightenment for the benefit of others, we need to train our mind in imagining this reality. Because everything starts in the imagination. So he says the fact that if we cannot even imagine attaining enlightenment, we will never be able to attain it. So then he says, how is it possible for something that exists only in our imagination to become a reality? It is a remarkable quality of the mind that we first create objects with our imagination and then bring them into our everyday reality. In fact, everything starts in the imagination. For example, the house we're presently living in was first created in the imagination of the architect. He or she then made a design on paper which acted as the blueprint for the actual building. If no one had first imagined our house, it would never have been built. Because you can't really live in an imagined house. But you can't live in your house without imagination playing a role, right? It's had to have started in someone's imagination. Like this house, this building, where this isn't somebody's imagination, but it started in somebody's imagination. Meaning, what that means is really it only appeared to their mind's eye. Like we have 6 awarenesses. Hope I'm not going off too many tangents here. I'll get back to love at some point. But we have 6 consciousnesses or 6 awarenesses: eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mental consciousness. And there are 6 corresponding objects: visual form, sounds, smells, tastes, tactile objects, and mental phenomena. And they're all equally valid. Okay. That's an important point. They're all equally valid. They all exist conventionally. So when we say starting something in the imagination, we're working with the mental consciousness, not a sense consciousness, mental consciousness. And what's appearing to that mind is, technically it's called a phenomena source. It's an object that only appears in the mind, to the mind. I can think of my retirement hut. There it is. See it? No, you don't. But I see it, and it exists. It's functioning. One day, but it's not appearing to the eyes. It's not appearing. But one day, if I, it starts in the imagination, and then if I apply effort, it will appear to eye, ear, nose, and so forth. But it's all got to start in the imagination. In reality, our mind is the creator of all we experience. All external creations, such as money, cars, computers, were developed in dependence upon someone's imagination. If no one had imagined them, they would never have been invented. In the same way, all inner creations and all Dharma realizations, even liberation and enlightenment, are developed in dependence upon imagination. Therefore, for both worldly and spiritual attainments, the imagination is of primary importance. If we imagine something that could in theory exist and then familiarize our mind with it for long enough, eventually it will appear directly to our mind, first to our mental awareness, and then even to our sense awarenesses. For as long as the object is still just an imagined object, the mind that apprehends it is simply a belief. If the object is a beneficial one, it's a correct belief. And if it stimulates delusions, it's an incorrect belief. So what Tantra does, and this practice that we're going to engage in, giving by means of love does, and the practice of taking by means of compassion, is we work with our mental awareness and we engage in practices out of compassion and out of love to create a different reality. So it appears in our mind, like, for example, wishing others to experience pure lasting happiness and then imagining giving our future enlightenment to them, imagining others experiencing pure happiness and focusing on that in the mind's eye with our mental awareness. We're working with a future reality, but bringing it into the now. So we're imagining giving lasting happiness to all living beings and imagining them experience it. That creates the cause for them to experience this in the future. It first starts in the imagination. And this is powerful mental karma. This is a mental action. Wishing others to be happy is a mental action. Giving happiness to others is a mental action that has consequences. It's functioning to purify our mind, purify our experience, but also to create future happiness for ourselves. So this is leading to next week. Actions are causes and experiences are effects. So if we do a meditation where we wish others to experience happiness and even imagine giving our happiness to them and imagine them experiencing that happiness, that's a mental action. Okay. You're sowing seeds in your mind. You're performing a mental action. And that has consequences. In the future, others will show you loving kindness. Others will wish you to be happy. So it's in our best interest to forget about ourselves and focus on others, wish others to be happy. The side effect of that is that we're happy and we create the causes of happiness in the future. But what we're actually imagining is imagining engaging in the enlightened deeds of a Buddha. Very powerful action. Like in modern Buddhism, he talks about this imagined practice of giving by means of love. He says this meditation, this mental action has 4 benefits. It increases our wishing love for all living beings. Okay, so we need that because love is the main cause of happiness. It ripens our potential ability to benefit all living beings. Okay, it's going to turn you into an enlightened being, a Buddha. It accumulates a great collection of merit or good fortune, or positive karma, and it causes our ordinary appearances and conceptions to cease. It's a very powerful meditation motivated by love, using the power of our wisdom imagination. So let's look at this a little bit in more detail, this practice of giving. The first thing we need to do is develop a mind of wishing love. Okay. So in Buddhism, Buddha taught there's 3 types of love. There's affectionate love, where we have a warm feeling, a feeling of closeness to others. That arises when we appreciate others. We recognize the kindness in others. So you can meditate on the kindness of others. And if you meditate on the kindness of others, then others will start appearing differently to you. Buddha gave many methods to see kindness in others, not just people that say nice things and give us gifts, but we learn even to see others as kind when they give us nothing but grief. Because if we're interested in practicing patience to overcome our anger problem, then we need irritating people to kindly be our muse for our practice of patience. So if we start to gain benefit in our spiritual practice in dependence upon others who are maybe even acting in deluded ways, we can see them as kind. We can see everyone as kind, because without others, we're nothing. We're totally dependent upon the efforts of others. So we can train our mind to see kindness in others rather than just wait for others to show some superficial kindness. There's many methods that we can do. Some are very, very profound, actually. So that's affectionate love. Cherishing love is a mind that thinks others are important, their happiness and freedom are important. So that's the opposite of what we call the self-centered mind that thinks actually I'm important, most important, my happiness matters most. So this is an opposite view that just thinks others are important, their happiness and freedom are important because they are kind, because others are kind, because they have the same, like if I'm focusing on you, you're kind. Thank you for showing up. So you're important. Your happiness matters. You have the same wishes as I do. You wish to be happy, wish to be free from suffering, just like me. There's no reason why I'm more important than you. So you're important. Your happiness matters. And there's more of you. Yeah. If all of you guys were really happy and I was miserable, would that be a better situation than I'm happy and you guys are all miserable? It depends who you're asking. If you're asking my self-centered mind, I think, yeah, I'll take that. Sucks to be them, but I'll take that. But actually, wisdom tells us, well, no, I'll take a bit of suffering. It's all right. I'll be miserable. But if that means you get to be happy, because there's more of you, there's more happiness. So we meditate on these points to develop cherishing love. And the deepest form of love is called wishing love. And this is a mind wishing others to be happy. The deepest form of wishing love is wishing others to experience the pure, everlasting happiness of an enlightened mind. And we develop this level of wishing love when we have the wisdom that understands that nobody's happy and there's no potential for people to experience lasting happiness in this deluded mess that we call samsara, the cycle of impure life controlled by delusions. Okay, so this is a special wisdom that understands that you're just like me. You wish to be happy all the time. You wish to be free from suffering and problems all the time. But although we all wish to be happy all the time, none of us are experiencing real lasting happiness. It's just a reality check. Some people call this a depressing aspect of Buddhist teachings, but I just call this a reality check. And there's a solution to this reality check, but it's just understanding a simple truth that although we all wish to be happy all the time, nobody is happy all the time. And there's a reason for that. We're seeking happiness in the wrong place. So what we call happiness, or worldly happiness, Buddha called the suffering of change. He called it changing suffering. Okay, this is quite interesting. He said, actually, that pleasant feeling you're getting when you enjoy something is not real happiness. What it is a temporary reduction in a previous suffering, which feels great. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So pizza is not a real source of happiness, but it can maybe produce pleasant feelings if you're really hungry, meaning you're suffering from hunger. You've got a suffering thing going on. I am starving. Yeah. Well, there's a pizza place right down the road. Amazing. Yeah. And then you go, and it's coming right out of the oven, and you take that first bite, and it's amazing. Are you happy? I'm so happy. But that's not real happiness. What it is a temporary reduction of previous suffering. Okay. The level of our hunger, if we're experiencing a strong sense of suffering from hunger, then this quickly gets diminished, and that feels fantastic. That's pleasurable feeling. That's fine. But that's not real happiness. It's actually you're diminishing your suffering of hunger with the suffering of eating, the suffering of pizza. How do you know that? It's not the happiness of pizza. Because if it was the happiness of pizza, you'd eat one slice of happiness. Okay, that whole slice was happiness. Second slice, happiness. Third slice, happiness. Fourth slice, I was really hungry, happiness. Fifth slice, neutral. That's impossible. I should be at 5 times the happiness now if it's a real source of happiness. Sixth slice, unpleasant feeling. Seventh slice, because now I'm being forced. Seventh slice, suffering. Eighth slice, pain. Second pizza. First slice, pain. More and more pain. Then coma. Then death. Death by pizza. But that's impossible if it was a real source of happiness, right? It'd be impossible. So there's a quote from the great master Aryadeva where he said, "The experience of suffering will never be changed by the same cause. But we can see the experience of happiness will be changed by the same cause." This is what I described, something that you think is a source of happiness and that works for anything: money, reputation, sex, drink, food, walking, sitting, sleeping, running, exercise, sedentary. Like everything is, that's better. Fair enough. Good feelings. But then it turns to suffering, meaning the experience of happiness will be changed by the same cause. Okay, does that make sense? It's the pizza that will cause the suffering. It's the lying down that will cause the suffering. It's the sex that will cause the suffering. But before it caused happiness, it's the walking that feels, that's better. That's what causes the suffering of walking. In a relationship, being together, it's a real source of happiness until you experience the suffering of being together. I just need a little time alone, just a little time, just going outside, just for a walk, just for a walk, just around the block, that's better. The experience. But then if you're alone for a long period of time, then you experience the suffering of being alone. So it's just suffering management. It's like taking different aspirins, it's just pain management. And Buddha's just saying that's not good enough.
If you feel inspired by this podcast, then dive deeper into timeless wisdom of modern Kadampa Buddhism by following the link in the episode description. We look forward to reconnecting with you in the next episode of Kadampa Podcasts.